Welcome back, everybody, to the daily show where we discuss and do technical analysis for big mega cap stocks. So, show your support by hitting that thumbs up button, and that is greatly appreciated. And if you're new here, consider subscribing, and that means a lot to me. Now, if you want to get my daily trade ideas, my swing trade ideas, my analysis in 3 days of live trading, definitely check out the Patreon, and that link will be down below in the description. And now let's get right into it, guys. On Apple stock, it's up whopping 3.26%, and my shares that I got here on this dip, actually I played twice. Got right here on this dip, sold out on this run to the upside. This thing came back down. I saw it at around 180, bought the dip again, and sold today for a nice juicy profit. And why? I can hold a little bit longer, but earnings coming in 2 weeks, and I don't like to hold anything through the earnings. And that is why I sold today, locked in profit, and now this thing up 3.26%. Now it looks like it's heading for that gap. But before that, Apple needs to break 190, and above that, you're going to see Apple filling this gap just below 192. Now, if this thing gets a rejection from 190, watch out for a move back down to 185. And if that gives up, now we got a massive gap here on bottom, which is sitting at close to 183. And that's also a strong support on Apple if there is a pullback all the way down to 183. So watch out. I mean, this thing looks like wants to fill this gap just below 192. And then possibly we could see a dump off back down to fill this gap down here, possibly before earnings, all the way down here to 182.93. On AMD, it's up 1.56%, and this was a fantastic play this morning. Shorting exactly at 168, getting 160 puts, and you can see the result right here. This thing came all the way down to 158. Now, that was a swing trade, but who does not like profit? Going in the money, over the money, coming down to 158.22, locked in profit, left one runner on AMD, and now it's trading at 162.67. So going into tomorrow's session, AMD is getting really frothy and overextended. If there is a pullback, you want to watch this support down here, 155, and below that, we could be coming down to fill this gap, 148.75, and that's going to be a support also on AMD. To the upside, looks like we got a massive rejection from previous all-time highs, even though this thing got up to a fresh new all-time high. So there is going to be a resistance right here at 164, and if this thing gets above 164, then we could see 169 to even 174, the next stop on AMD. On Meta, it's up over 2%, so massive rally. We gapped up from 368, and this thing ran all day, all the way up to almost 377, and looks like, just like AMD, we could be hitting, or at least retesting, previous all-time highs. So next up, 384 on Meta. If there is a pullback, now we do have support down here, 371.22, and just below that, this gap will also act as a support, 368.54, and below that we also have support down here, 362, and then right down here 358, and then 355. To the upside, blue sky above, and this thing can run, especially this thing can hit previous all-time highs, and that is 384, and possibly we could see fresh new all-time highs just like we saw on AMD, and that could be anywhere from 385 to 390. On Amazon stock, it's up 1.18%, and Amazon now just under 5-day moving average right here, 153.63. Amazon can break above 153.63. You're going to see a straight shot back up to 155, and then possibly up to even 157.66. Now to the downside, we do have strong support down here, 151.79, 20-day moving average, and if that gives up, you want to watch for 150, 148, 50-day moving average below 150, and then strong support down here, 146. On Google stock, it's up 1.47%, and again Google getting rejection right here and pretty much staying right at that resistance right here into closing 145. We got above 145, came back down, and now trading right at 145. So Google here, guys, this thing breaks 145, we could see a rally all the way up to 148 and possibly even higher. Now again, if this thing gets rejected tomorrow, then watch out for the support down here. And now we do have support 144, rising 5-day moving average, 142, 141.54, 20-day moving average, and then strong support. We saw that yesterday bouncing off of the support 140, and this is going to be a level to watch on a big pullback right here on Google stock. On Microsoft, it's up 1.13%, and this is how we do things here in this market. You can see clearly this thing gapped up over 390, and that's how we get things done here in this market. Gap up over resistance and then run. And now almost hitting another fresh new all-time highs. So this thing now left 4 gaps open right here, but who cares? This thing going straight up, right? Now, as long as Microsoft can hold on a pullback, I would say if this thing actually gets down to 390, yes, that could be a nice day trade right here to buy this dip and play it to the upside all the way up to 400. But if this thing gives up 390, then watch out. We might be coming back down to 384 and then all the way down to 380, and then this gap just under 376. And that is going to be a decent pullback on Microsoft, but there's no guarantee that that is coming anytime soon. For now, watch out. 390 can hold. After filling this gap, this thing can go straight up all the way up to 400. On Tesla stock is down again 1.70% and barely holding this critical support into closing 212. And this is gonna be your line in the sand going into tomorrow. If this thing cannot hold and recapture 212 as a support, you're going to see a dump off back down to flat 200. Above 212, this thing can run all the way up to 219 or 218.69 5-day moving average. And if this thing can break above this 5-day moving average, then watch out for a move all the way up to 225.37 to close this gap. And above that, watch out for this gap up here, 231.29. And if you're looking to buy the dip, definitely it's right here on Tesla. On Netflix, it's up 1% and finally going back up and recapturing this support 485 into closing. Now, as long as Netflix can hang out right here at 485, you're going to see a move back up to the upside all the way up to 500 and possibly up to even 506. Now, if this is actually a dead cat bounce, you will see a big rejection from 485, and then this thing can come all the way down to 468.57, and below that you're going to see another dump off all the way down to this gap 455.50. And don't forget, we got earnings coming on Netflix, and I think that is next week. On Nvidia stock, nothing new. This morning, this thing gapped up over 2% and this thing ran. And look at how many hammer candles we got. We got one here. We got one yesterday. And again, same thing. We got a hammer candle today. Entire dip was bought up. Luckily, we saw this thing coming down to 561. Not even touching 5-day moving average right here, 558. And the dip buyers, again, almost near 600 buying up the dips. And this thing went back up, and look at this, guys. I mean, non-stop, again up another $3 right now. So who knows, might be another gap up tomorrow, right? And I said it before, if we put this range from this consolidation for almost 7-8 months, if we put this range on top right here from this breakout, right here 505, that will give you a price target, and that is 600. And I don't think this thing is stopping for anybody until this thing hits 600. So to the upside, this thing can run all the way up to 600. If there is a pullback, you want to watch 558, 546, and then 532 on Nvidia. That's all I have for you guys in this video. Thank you so much for watching.